How this film ended, it really rubbed me the wrong way. Welcome to Agents of Screen. I am your boy Mars, aka the Ball Beyonce, and we are here for my spoiler-free review for A Quiet Place Part 2. But how you guys doing? How was your bank holiday? I hope you went outside in the sunshine. I hope you had a drink or two. I will hope you was able to say hey. But even if you wasn't, I hope it was a good one regardless. But how I do things here, in case you are new, I tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, if you should see this film in cinemas, and my score out of 10. But what is A Quiet Place Part 2? I think it's time for the trailer voice. Following the deadly events of the first movie, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sandy path. Directed by John Krasinski and starring Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Millicent Simmonds, and Noah Jupe. That voice is starting to take a toll on my throat. Pause, but let us get into it. I'ma say off the bat, if you like the first installment, you're definitely gonna enjoy this. It has all the same ingredients that you loved from the first movie and applied it to this one without it becoming stale. Speaking of ingredients from the first film, again, the use of sound, or the lack thereof, in this film, how it's applied, it's amazing. It's almost like the sound is a character in the film, its own entity. It's like you can feel, this is gonna sound like real high thoughts, but it's almost like you can feel the film breathing. It's like it envelops you at all times. It's always moving, giving you hints about what's gonna happen, what's not gonna happen. It's just always moving, organic. That statement may not make sense now, but when you watch it, it will. And this film is masterfully, you had to get all the syllables in there, masterfully directed by John Krasinski. Is that how Jim from The Office is going on? Yeah! For a new director, he is putting in a work. How it's directed, it controls your emotions. It controls what you think is happening just from how the shot is framed. Probably the best directed film I've seen this year so far. John Krasinski, family doing a madness right now. You're doing the Lord's work. Also, lastly, the opening sequence was an absolute delight. It gives you a slight prequel into how this world came to be the way it is. And the acting performances across the board were stellar, especially the kids. They were forced to get deep into their acting bag and do some emotionally heavy scenes, sometimes with just non-verbal communication. And they stepped up to the plate wonderfully. Sweetie, you're doing an amazing job. And even Emily Blunt, there was sure nothing blunt about her performance. Ah, damn, tough crowd. But she was able to convey a mother who is at the end of her tether. She's hanging by a thread, trying to keep everything together, the family, the journey, this situation that they find themselves in, the loss, the grievance of what has literally just happened. She conveys that perfectly without saying much at all. Now for the things that I didn't like. It's not much, but still, how this film ended, it really rubbed me the wrong way. It was far too abrupt for my liking. It made the film feel short, and it made it feel like I wasn't watching A Quiet Place Part 2. It felt like I was watching A Quiet Place Part 1.5. It felt like an interlude. It felt like if you were a kid and you're playing jump rope and you're just waiting to get in, and the game stops. I said, I ain't even got my turn yet. Or it's like if you're sitting in a chair getting a haircut and it's halfway done and electricity goes, and it'd be like, fam, I got like half a trim. Like one side is looking like Bobby Brown and the other side is looking like DMX. Rest in peace. Yeah, can you just fade up the side a little bit? Or it feels like a roller coaster and you see the track, and at the end of the track you see a loop-to-loop and you're thinking, yes, that loop-to-loop is coming. But then when you get just before it stops. I want the loop-de-loop. Or it felt like when you saw Tony Hawk do the 900 for the first time ever on the half pipe. He goes up, he goes round once, he goes round twice, and it stops, and the TV turns off when he gets to 720. I want to see 900. You've stopped me from witnessing greatness here. I kind of went around the houses there to make my point, but as a result, it feels like the film doesn't have a real climax. It definitely has exciting scenes, engaging scenes, white knuckle scenes. However, it feels like it's missing something. And I still have a lot of questions, which is natural, of course. However, it feels like I have more questions than I should at the end of part 2 of A Quiet Place. And I think that's why they named it A Quiet Place Part 2 and not A Quiet Place 2. And at a point I could feel the ending coming. I could feel it. Just like The Weeknd, I could feel it coming. And I was like, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. And then a black screen with credits just slammed down on my heart. And it hurt me. Aside from that, I just have like minor nitpicks. Like one of the characters makes an extraordinarily stupid decision, which I feel is unrealistic for his character and for that scene too. But you know, it's one of those things. That being said, despite my cons, I would definitely recommend you go to see this film. I still had a great time watching it. I still think that you would enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of the first one. So I would give A Quiet Place Part 2. Ooh, this is difficult. I'm caught between a 7 and a 7.5. I may change my mind later on, but for now, I'm gonna stick on a 7. A worthy sequel. A good movie that was held back from being great because of the ending. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know if you're gonna see it. If you have seen it, if you disagree with me, that is okay. Remember, I am just a bald boy on the internet. On that note, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video, which should be coming extremely soon. Until then, peace.